That's my car. No, I'm just kidding. Hello and welcome back to Game 3. We are going to have GGS and TSMA back on the Rift in just a few, but before we get into the game, we definitely have to do some notables. Knowing how good people did in this game, we reflect on the other games as well, and we mentioned Palafox, who had a bit of a back and forth so far, but definitely found his groove, as we saw in Game 2.
Very drastic champions. Game 1, he ran the Akali, and it just was a floundering composition for Golden Guardians. Whereas in Game 2, the Tristana just crushed it. He had pressure in the mid lane, roaming up to the side lanes, found multiple kills in the top lane river. So the Tristana, definitely a much needed change for this team as it enabled so much of the early game.
Absolutely. Looking across the map as well a little bit, we know that the top side and mid lane getting a little bit of love there. Darshan seems to have one set focus, and that is take Grig down.
It looks a lot like when Someday goes up against literally everyone, except what has been Darshan in the last matchup where they played.
He's absorbing it.
Where it just seems like a constant guarantee that Darshan is going to be winning the lane. He just obliterated Grig. I really wonder how that matchup would have gone had that kill not happened in the river, but he snowballed it very well from that, the rest of the team assisting in it. And he translated that lead to a very powerful mid game that, unfortunately, Golden Guardians was not able to close out as cleanly as they would have liked. But they walk away with the victory that is much needed, wind on their sails, because this next game puts either of these teams in match point.
You can see the stats there for Darshan. Feeling pretty good. He's definitely seemed to come back into his own, into that, hey, every time we look up to the lane, you might see some kind of shock and awe play, or Darshan doing the split push you expect him to see. So it's cool to see him fall back into that role. Somebody who also had a standout game, but then a little tripped up, was Acadian. The Silas, I believe, deathless in the first game, and then we saw him really falter there on the Skarner, not having a surefire way into the fights this time around.
He played the Skarner very aggressively, looking to take fights that just did not make sense for the champion, right? You're using Predator, you want to just hit level 6, go for those ganks, flash pull, and continue to get plays. The flash pulls were not there. We saw one that missed in the bottom lane, and a lot of kills happened in the top lane river. And maybe like 4 out of Skarner that actually yielded a few Barons. He actually had Baron stolen against him as well. So it was a really rough game to contrast Game 1, which might indicate to us that he might not be as comfortable on Skarner as he is on other champions like the Silas. So we might see a little bit more action towards clinching the jungle pool as we continue in the series.
So I believe both teams have found their wins from the red side now and continue to choose blue when they get the chance. GGS now selects blue side, so they're still feeling that first pick is priority, but they are able to work it out that they get the victory in the end from red side on both now. So at 1-1 here in the semifinals as both teams are trying to lock their way into the Academy World Finals. That's right, it's coming up soon. It's held by currently TSM, has that belt. And let's try to defend it as they come through here. I think that the plot armor fell off a little bit there. They find a way to destroy it from the side of GGS last game, and it was with variety. I liked it.
Now, I have to imagine that Golden Guardians selecting blue side has upped their priority on the Aatrox pick, because it is one that they were not only able to crush, but one that Grig was able to do fairly well compared to how he did on the Kennen, in the sense that he's a lot harder to dive, he's a lot harder to abuse in a champion like Kennen. So if you were to give this to Grig, he'd have a much easier time dealing with Darshan, because there's not a lot of champions that can really punish that. Yeah. Unless we might see Darshan bust out the Camille, and then it's a completely different story. But then it keeps getting banned. So blue side will be very interesting. We'll see if Golden Guardians has changed up their bans and maybe targets the Silas, and they don't want the Sejuani to be up against that matchup as Acadian had in Game 1.
As we go through bans here, do you have kind of an idea of how the Olaf Aatrox plays out? I feel like obviously being close up there for Olaf is a little hurt, but the second Aatrox misses, you're just swinging axe and swing and axe. Right. It seems like you have the advantage.
It's hard for Aatrox to sweet spot the Olaf. Right. Olaf is a champion that, as far as I know, wins pretty much every lane. There's really no way to beat Olaf 1v1. Yeah. Only when the jungler is getting balled that he starts falling behind and does a little bit poorly, or if he misplays. So I just don't think that this is something that Grig might necessarily want to do going up against Darshan. I think he's a much more difficult opponent than what he faced against Team Liquid Academy, especially because Hard and Darshan have been working a lot better than what Brandini and sorry, Jenkins and Odd Orange had them.
Ooh.
Remember that one?
Got it. Nicely done. Taking out the Trist. Palafox says, yeah, I'll play it, but I don't want to see it. They actually super ban out of Blaze Olive in the first 3. Grig may have been a player of that Tristana, but wow. They say nothing for you on the red side of Blaze Olive.
And this is the strategy that we were anticipating.
There's the Aatrox.
Continue to put Darshan on the Aatrox and go against Grig. What does Grig have as an answer to this? I cannot fathom that Grig in 2 weeks has mastered Camille well enough to be able to go up against Darshan's Aatrox right now.
I say Renekton.
I mean,
you don't have
the
to hit
Renekton, but you know what I think would actually be a super powerful pick that both these teams might have overlooked that has been banned previously? Starts with a K, ends in Arma.
Oh, I don't know. Cheeseburger? Oh no! The Sona gets locked in. I only say oh no because for a play-by-play I get to watch like pianos be played now and tongue lashes come out, and I'd love to see marksman. The oh no is only for my opinion. That is a great lock-in though for a bot lane for GGS. We'll see what they can do with this. So it definitely was a we didn't play the composition right feeling. Man, you got. I'm gonna laugh.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be it. Yep.
They're gonna troll us, pick it, hover it, and then not lock it in. So the Karma gets locked in here for TSM.
I'm surprised that Golden Guardians did not want to run Karma themselves. I don't think they might have actually practiced this kind of composition since both Karma and Aatrox are so often banned. It's rare that you'll see one team get both. It's usually a bit of a trade. So I just think they could have been a really powerful comp if you have an Aatrox with a Karma backing him up. And if you're going to know that Darshan is going to crush the lane, it gets really tough to crush a Karma that can not only farm from a distance, keep the Aatrox at bay, but best of all, she can build tanky. You can go full tank Karma and be possibly the most obnoxious champion to ever exist.
Silas taken away from Acadian. We've seen 2 forms now, Acadian and AK Adian.
This is really funny though that TSM is actually banning Skarner themselves. It's like, no, nobody can touch this. It's been tainted. The river cannot see. And the Silas ban is saying that we know Akaden had a pop-off game, and even though he's not up against Sejuani, we do want him off that pick. Let's see what else he's got. He's going to have first selection of the junglers over hard. And with the remaining junglers, you know, you have Rek'Sai, Gragas, Sin, Elise.
I want to see Gragas Yasuo for TSM Academy.
You think so?
I want it. That would be an amazing. It's just like gets all the way down here, and they have a composition to follow it with defense. I like it. They'd have to go hard, though.
He does have pretty good games on Gragas. I think he's a lot more comfortable on that kind of pick.
A Blaze Olive.
He does have that kind of burst potential, and it's pretty powerful against the Golden Guardians Tahm Kench Sona, where you can just ulti the Tahm Kench back into your team, and you forget about the fact that he's devoured. You get that 2-for-1 throwback.
No Yasuo games for Blaze Olive this season. So that will kind of play into it. But also no Akali games for a Blaze Olive this season. He does have 1 Karma game. So we'll see him get this now into his wheelhouse. Of course, all the players have done a little bit of solo queue and testing with champions that are on the top of the tier list. So I'm sure he's played it, but what a great lock in here. Aurelia has been banned quite a bit in these past few games. And now what's going to be in the jungle? Possibility for more dives on those turrets, and it could be the Elise here. Just a few more seconds, and we'll see what that lock-in is.
That is such a dangerous topside for Golden Guardians. With Elise, Irelia, and Aatrox, you have kill potential everywhere. You've got dive potential. Your 2v2 is nutty. You've got burst. They are all inning on the solo lanes here, and then once again, kind of putting hard and keeping Olay on the wayside because they got solo kills last time they ran the bottom lane, so I think they're going to be more than happy here.
Imagine if Acadian goes to invade on this team on the top side.
Yeah.
you have a lot of power collapsing it. Oh, it's going to be the Lee Sin for Acadian. He is going to try to go lane to lane, pop the flashes, rinse and repeat. You have to stay mobile, and you have to stay hungry as Lee Sin. Let's see if he can make it work.
Stay hungry and stay accurate, too, because TSM's composition is crazy difficult to execute. There is an incredibly high ceiling here. There is not a lot of setup. there's pretty much no setup for Lee Sin. You usually want somebody to lock you down so that Lee can hit those Qs, so that you can set yourself up. But against Aurelia, that dashes everywhere. Against an Aatrox, it does the same thing. It's going to be really tricky for him to find a way into these lanes. However, if he just chooses to go 1v1 against Hard, we might see a different story. That's a lot easier than going for these 2v2s against some of the most powerful solo lanes the patch has to offer.
I love this composition. It's like so much power surrounded by great supports of Karma and Braum. It's such a slippery team for an Aurelia, an Elise, an Aatrox, a Tom Kench to try and get on. Everybody on TSM's composition has a way to save themselves, get to safety, or be behind Braum to make sure they are safe. It's a tricky one to play against. Let's see if Golden Guardians can carry that momentum from their victory in Game 2 and bring this to a game point. Both teams now sit in that position. One more win will bring them to 2, and we'll have to see if that pressure is enough to bring them over their opponent. We are in the semifinals here of Academy. Before we head to Academy Worlds, it is TSM Academy versus Golden Guardians, and we are back on the Rift. It's crazy.
The Academia Ezreal.
The Graves Academia is real loud.
The professor.
Yeah.
Look at how he runs. Wait, he's got a beard?
He's got to go to class. No, he's got a book in his mouth.
It's a sandwich.
It is a sandwich. I thought it was a book. Is it just a piece of bread? I guess that's how you leave in the morning, right? You're like, oh, I don't have time for crap. Gotta go. Just gotta go.
30 seconds until
It's gotta get soggy after a while.
Only the part that's in your mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep, yep. I had this conversation with myself the other day. Is it like soggy foods? Like, what soggy foods are you down to eat? One would be tomato soup and grilled cheese. And then I realized the other one is an Oreo. Boom. Right?
Dipped in milk?
No, water.
Oh.
Come on.
Yeah, I hate soggy cereal. Once it starts sogging, once I let it sog, I've accepted I'm not gonna finish it.
$1 million idea, make a cereal that doesn't go soggy. Just coat it with like a type of honey that doesn't get worn away by liquid, and then it never goes soggy. Boom. You have $1 million.
Or just eat faster.
Nope. Because I don't want Tums with my cereal. No. All right, back into the semifinals. I bet you everybody had a good breakfast this morning. That's why they're playing so well.
Oh! Okay. Burns the Q just to check.
Well, not Wheaties for Acadian, though,
But
obviously.
it now requires a little bit of extra help from the team. And, you know, usually you actually see Lee Sin start W, but because you get a leash with your bottom lane, it's a lot easier for you to spend more points elsewhere. And now the junglers are going to be trading. But look at Acadian. He's going to go straight to the mid lane here. We're going to go for an early 2v2. Does Hard get spotted? Because they should know he's here.
Interesting.
So he does this so that Elise has to back off because it gives his mid laner priority. And now he gets to go and look for an invade against Hard. He needs to go either speculate that he's going for Wolves or going for Gromp. He checks that. It's like, okay, he's like, Gromp, but I don't have my Q up yet.
I absolutely love this.
Thank you for the leash.
Yeah, thank you for the leash. Acadian has gone down in that position right there multiple times. But like you said, Crumbs, pushing the wave forward so you don't get a collapse from Palafox. Top lane already getting pushed in as that wave is definitely going to go to Karma first with her abilities to spam. So Acadian and team playing that one super safe kind of makes me chuckle since that was a really tough spot for them to get in and out of in the last game. A quick change makes a good result there.
And that does let him 3-buff Hard, so
It does, nicely.
it refreshes Acadian's red buff, and if he continues to gank or be really aggro, he's going to have that extra advantage over the Elise. So we'll see what he can do with the Lee Sin this time around, though, because just going to the opposing team's jungler one time is not going to be enough. You need to make more out of Lee Sin. Like I said, Golden Guardians comp is going to be a lot easier for them to execute and find more picks here. And Hard is only level 2, so he's really vulnerable, but Acadian recognizes, I can't do this because my bottom lane has priority.
Yep.
I need to back off.
Nice grab there, Scuttle top. Ooh, got it. The question mark ping goes in. This is always Ole. As soon as you get a bit of pressure towards the bot, Ole will be in to figure out what's happening at blue, whether it's to set down a ward or just get the Scryer's bloom. You can really consider that that'll be something he always does. I wonder if teams kind of consider these things, have a ward in position, or like this, the time will go hard on Keith. It's so hard though. He walks away with, goes hard with Sona, quick walk away, roll your face on the keyboard and you're safe.
Yeah, find the Elise. No, you got a little bit more time. And who that helps the most is not a Blaze Olive, because he's going to have his Shroud in the mid lane that does help him out. It actually helps Grigmore, whose wave is in a bit of a tricky position here, so close to Darshan's turret, which does present the opportunity to be run down. But because his mid laner did a fine job in scouting the jungler, he can stay up here, and it buys Akaden enough time to go secure the Scuttle Crab. So this is how one laner finding vision can help other lanes.
Sometimes it becomes that process of illumination vision, especially if you don't see him and you have a side of the map warded. You know where he is. Not specifically, but exactly where the danger could be coming from. No eyes onto Hard there. He takes a big roundabout way towards the lane. Like you said, Grig's in a bad spot, but Palafox also in a tight spot here. Ignite goes in. That's going to be the ultimate as well. No! That's just the dashes. I figured one of them had perfect execution there, but that's just them going in and out with the kickflip. Grig's now going to go down on the other side of the map before he even hits sixes. We got the kills coming through, 1-1.
Mechanically in the mid lane, that was really cool to look at. Both Akaden being able to actually hit his Q with the flash, but then the stun. Let's take another look at how this began. So Palafox dashing around, but he already got tagged, and Akaden, bam, finds his Q as the stun gets proc, which was a very beautiful stun too. Double stun there, something you usually would not have expected.
An interesting flash from Grig. He flashed in between them to dodge the sweet spot, but
still died. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sun was in his eyes. Happens.
We're indoors, Riv.
It happened. They're on the Rift. It's a bright day. There's like 4 moons in Runeterra or something.
Really?
Suns. I don't know why I said moons. It's bright all day. Flawless duet missing in the mid lane. Little passive attack damage coming in there from Blaze Olive as he keeps swinging that comma around, but you have to play it differently in the Shroud. It's not an extended Shroud. You don't kind of just go back and forth with your opponent anymore. You have to play it very smart and safe to thread that damage in. Cutlass into what will be, seems like a Phage in Palafox's hands. Pretty decent buy in a Ruby Crystal MBF sword, or a long sword, as we are just hitting those level 6s. Back here from GGS's bot side, at least Ole. We'll see what he comes back with on teleport.
Yeah, and this is the bottom lane that now might have the opportunity to help Lee Sin go for a dragon, even though it's an early dragon. Lee's just really good at going for those early objectives. Having the resonating strike be so good at single targets does give him that opportunity, but instead, the teleport of Keith will allow him to wait.
Ooh, one more hit. There's an ignite there on Braum still. Oh, man. I almost would have gone for that, but that's why I'm silver.
Think a flash auto from the Ezreal.
This definitely means the gank from Hard can be a little bit better. If they did now save with those summoners up, they do expect more pressure on the bot side as we see Hard here for a little bit of support, and this is what you're talking about. Acadian possibly able to solo this out. Mid lane pushed into the favor of TSM, so Palafox has to do a bit of janitorial duty at the turret. A great little take here by TSM to start things off. A lot of Cloud Drakes are getting us going today.
Yeah, so the objective is really not worth going crazy for, so just a quick little solo. And Akaden doesn't need to go power farm right now, so he's already hit that level 6 from the earlier advantages he secured over the Elise. Let's see if Palafox and Darshan can go for a dive on Grig, who does not have armor right now, only a Sheen.
I like the way he's denying the click from behind the turret. A teleport comes in quickly from Akali. That lane was just reset, so Blaze Olive knows he has time to roam. And he's also chasing Palafox on that, so beautifully done as they were setting everything up. Now back to a reset mid lane for those mid laners.
A real pal move out of a Blaze Olive, making sure that Grig does not get abused like last time. He's doing a very fine job in the top lane. Now, he did die that first time, but he's keeping up in CS, and this is what we expected out of him when you take away that Karma. It's just such a difficult champion to punish that you can always expect the Karma player to, at the very least, go even.
Yep. But now you know, Blaze Olive went up there and said, I get first shield. So look,
all right.
look for me in the next fight, buddy.
Who saved you in the top lane? Do you remember that dive?
Yeah. I like Ole's meat shield here. He's doing a great job at denying auto attacks and kind of standing on top of Keith. So he's the only thing that tactical and treats can click on their way in. doing a good job. It kind of works out with Sona as well. Usually you can trip up a marksman and get good positioning, but Sona's just able to auto and cast abilities from willy-nilly space. Coming back to lane now, Keith rolling through 88 CS to that top lane, just hit up to 90 in that CS, or middle lane. I can't even speak. Bot lane, rather, to 77 CS. I think I went through every lane, but I got there.
There's
okay.
3. That 1 in 3 chance, not bad.
Thank you. Makes me feel so much better.
I mean, it's good odds.
And you can see them all at the same time, which makes it even that much better. 9.5 minutes. Still have Rift Herald we're waiting for here. Big swings on the map still yet to come. We'll see who gets those favors on their side. 1-1 as we've seen for these past 2 games. If you're just joining us, we've had outstanding games from a Blaze Olive here in the mid lane, an outstanding game from Acadian in the mid lane, and now will they be able to finish this one? An outstanding game from Palafox? Almost. As they do get out decently clean on that gank, they're going to have to do a little bit of repairing on the health bars, though.
I think Palafox had flash and all that. He actually might have been able to play it a little bit safer and get away from that whole fiasco, because the Blaze Olive even committed his own.
Went hard. We'll see coming up. Ooh, let's gank Palafox just before his flash is up.
Is it? No, just a micro hair.
He literally died and it came up.
Wow.
That feels bad.
Super well timed.
You know what,
TSM
too?
then.
Because there's always situations, and this is source, you know, kind of from playing yourself, where you see your flash coming up, so you start to play more aggressive. You get yourself into position, and you get yourself in a tight spot because you don't have it yet. That 10 seconds feels like 20.
That's what good summoner spell tracking gets you. That allows you to take advantage of that window that you're talking about, where a player plays a little bit more aggressive, thinking that the flash is going to be back up. So one of the first rules of if you want to be a pro player, you better start timing those summoner spells. That's really one of the essentials.
It is pretty crazy the way that some do it. I remember they used to say Mad Life would do an entire game. All you have to do is say a top lane flash and it'd be calculated. I'm sure a lot of supports have gotten to that position now, but it used to be foreign. It's kind of like FLICKR, watching him now use the F keys just to look around the map. It's the little things you see the pros do to excel them to the next step.
The way you do it is you might be in the middle of a crazy fight, and whoever can, you see the flash and you just type anything. Doesn't matter what you type. Once you type it out, the fight is over, then you can regroup and think, all right, what is the timing that is necessary for it? And then you start doing the math for it. You don't need to do the math right away, but you do need to do the math on how many plays Golden Guardians are going to be able to get out of this rotation in the top lane, moving Ole and Keith to the top, but it's only for the Rift Herald secure.
I like seeing a little bit of the chat screen over here on the side. It kind of pollutes the screen, so we don't have it on the live feed, but you can see when the players are kind of pinging down towards Baron. Treats just did so, so they have a little bit of or a dragon in 30 seconds, so they have an idea on that. And TSM's saying, we want this bot side. Already have a great push from Tactical, and now we get a few more plates across the map as well. TSM stands with only 2 plates lost on that top side. As again, Darshan is having a fantastic game. And here with the pressure with GGS, Ole, and Keith. Acadian's over the wall, but it looks like they're just set to farm here. They see Acadian. It's going to have to be Tactical and Treats realizing this, that the lane is pulling away and Acadian's going to need help. Blaze Olives in the mid has not been able to rotate down. It looks like he's hovering a little towards the top side, and Grig once again. And now that GGS keeps himself safe, Acadian probably said, I'm good, I'm Lee Sin. I'll be able to get out.
We've seen this story before, and instead of Acadian being in the top lane to help out Grig, it is a Blaze Olive, while he goes for the objective of the Mountain Dragon. Mountain Dragon was a pretty critical objective last time around, so this is going to end up potentially benefiting TSM Academy. Secure kill, post 20 minutes, get yourself a free Baron.
Great job at controlling Drakes in the games they are ahead, and 2 kills to 1 right now for TSM Academy. Scaling up this Ezreal. Karma not having the greatest time on the top side, but Darshan's Aatrox is definitely going to be doing work throughout each game. He's able to lock that one in. You can see Greg just get the autos in, but not doing too much work there. 120 to 96 in CS for that top side. Everything else is pretty even across the board. Bot lane, Keith and Ole doing a great job, about 20 CS ahead of this lane. Some of those are cleaned up actually by Treats' Braum with the Relic, so You're getting a little bit more even there, but you definitely want to see the Sona and Tom Kench behind by much more CS than that.
And they didn't commit to that play, thinking that, well, our jungler's not here. We don't really have priority in the mid lane right now. We might just play a little bit more cautiously here. There's no point in going crazy here because Darshan just secured his top lane tower, now having a 100 gold up against Carmen. Trying to fast forward a little bit. How is this game going to be playing out? We're probably going to just see Darshan split pushing like we did once in game 2, which does present a 1-4 opportunity for both these teams. But I think that Grig, as a tank Karma, is gearing up to be more of the answer against Darshan, as opposed to somebody to join up with the team and start providing those Ardent Sensor or potentially the Athene Holy Grails heals, because you don't really have somebody that truly benefits from that crazy attack speed. The Ezreal is going to be fine with or without the Karma.
Very true. He gets his kind of own attack speed as well as you're still hitting spells. 15 minutes coming up. Who's going to make the next big move? We did just lose turret plates, so we see the gold for that going to the wayside. Both teams were able to pick up a few. Darshan quite a few for himself. And where's the next initiation come? Looking at TSM's composition, yeah, they have treats to get in, but you're going to be looking at a lot of dives, a lot of pressure, and a lot of catches for TSM to go in on these fights.
Well, it's now just a 1-3-1 for both these teams. The Irelia is now being matched in the bottom lane by the Akali as well. So whoever finds a way to engage is going to have an easier time, but obviously it's a lot harder for Arcadian to find that kick than it is for Hard to hit that cocoon. So I think that Golden Guardians will typically have enough pressure in the mid lane, being able to mitigate a lot of tacticals poke, which would be the answer to presenting that opportunity. Arcadian's going to go in, and Ablaze Olive is here too.
I love this kind of 14 before 20 minute now, before you get too much else on the map. Rift Herald hasn't just spawned yet, and teams are kind of just fighting over basic vision. The Dragon still has 2 minutes, but those wards almost caused one heck of a fight that would have swung a bit of this mid game and a heck of a lot of gold. With core items finished, you could see a big swing here. Back to just clearing out that vision, but build it up so much, and they actually just head back to their own lanes and keep farming it out.
We got Irelia versus Karma now. Interesting, and I think this is... they just want to use Palafox's teleport instead of Darshan, as Darshan might be able to accrue more pressure in the bottom lane than Irelia can right now. So you put your strongest member down there to make sure that you actually are able to rotate it, secure the vision, that will then allow Palafox in the top lane to teleport with the wards that you've placed down. Trinity Force, not yet completed for Tactical, just missing a little bit more gold. That's going to be a pretty big item for him. He would be hoping to finish that before the dragon spawns, because that would be a really good timing for him.
Just waiting for him to step forward a little bit. Without enough vision on his shoulders, though, Tactical plays this one. Just that. Safe and Tactical on the backside. Looks like TSM's vision actually in this last movement by GGS has been pretty much deleted. You can see a few wards there in the mid lane with Keith and Tactical, but along the river, that's all the vision of GGS. Coming back through, Ole is going to try and change a little battle along with Grig as they get themselves back into position to get ready for a fight. Have Tactical backing. We'll see what he spends his gold on.
It is, drumroll please, Trinity Force is completed. Finally, the Ezreal is going to come online. Mirror Mana will be done relatively soon as well. And let's see if TSM can hold off in picking a fight before the Ezreal gets there. That's really the dream. You don't want to be taking this without your core member being involved.
Close, 125 tiers away. So we'll see if he can get those out.
Just a little bit more crying.
Just a little more. There's something with the river there, but I just can't connect it. 30.5 to coming up on 30K, so a very close game. Anybody's Drake. Another mountain in favor of TSM, though, would be huge for taking down the other objectives on the map. In goes Acadian. Whoa. Out with the Dragon goes Acadian. A beautiful job there, and it looks like, actually, Dragon goes to Hard. I apologize. Acadian flashed in for that one. And now it's a Blaze Olive in and out. Perfect execution's already used, but nobody's gone down. Treats could go down, keeping himself alive, but the Unbreakable is broken, and he does fall. They save Keith Sona gets out to keep the sustain going for the rest of the team as Treats is down. And a great job getting in by GGSA. I saw Acadian going fast, but nothing happened there. And just the flash made me think that he got it.
He ward hopped in and then immediately flashed out. He just dips it right away, trying to not scare anybody on Golden Guardians to really take him down, but we got a fight that continues to go. Greg has got devoured.
Oh, he's gonna get spit out, taken down. A kill going over to Keith there. 2-0 for the Sona on this game. Now it's starting to work out for them. The Sona Tom Kench that they played in game 1 went to the wayside for the bot side of the map, but now it's starting to show up a little bit bigger. Darshan's coming in for what could be a double kill. Picks up #1 for himself. No, that goes to Ole as he gets the lick the stick, and now they're on to what is a Blaze Olive, who's on the wrong side of the map. Here they clean up the minions. They're happy that he's on the wrong side. It looks like they might try to push mid.
We've got so many fights on different fronts. I was looking at Palafox getting 1v2, a Blaze Olive 1v2ing Hard and Palafox, the Akali being so strong right now, but instead we're gonna look at what happened in the Dragon right away. Look, Acadian miss, boop, gets out of there right away, but Palafox then focuses Greg. The tank Karma, nothing's gonna happen there. And a Blaze Olive, meanwhile, the Shroud is just not visible, so he gets to back off, but a cool little crescendo. And then Darshan is huge, but then Treats goes down. And as you continue to see the fight develop into 2 different fronts, with Grig getting caught out and Palafox hoping to go for a Blaze Olive, he oversteps and realizes, wait a minute, I'm caught out. I can't fight this guy. I've O2'd the laning phase, and Akali is fed.
That E from Tactical to Flash was a little questionable. Another fight happening, and that's a kill for Darshan. World Ender's on for him. Possibly another one onto Treats as they get the kill onto Palafox, but it's going to be a kill for Keith, the 3-0 for the Sona. Ole goes into the gray health, and now they're onto Acadian. The Cocoon just misses, locking down more members of TSM. Like I said, this composition from TSM is very mobile. They can get themselves into good positions, but also into questionable positions. Once again, Tactical stays a little too long and puts himself right in a sweet spot for Darshan. Grig's there to deliver the defense, but it's gonna be a Baron for GGS.
Every single time that Ezreal dies, the answer is always the same. He eats forward. He greeted out, hoping to get more damage onto Darshan, but he hits him with a nice sweet spot, and now we've got Golden Guardians going for the Dragon. Baron, they do have Mountain, and Acadian does have Smite. Will he do a revenge steal?
Gonna see it. They may want to stop. There's quite a bit of burst damage that can come over from the other side. Sonic Wave hits. Resonating Strike is gonna wear off as they want Greg first. And they will be deterred from taking the Baron. Tactical has just spawned, so you even have a True Shot barrage coming over your shoulder there. Minion waves are pretty much reset across the map, so not a lot of movement here for TSM, but great pressure from GGS to turn up the heat in this game.
Let's see how that all started, because we have a Blaze Olive, the most fed member of TSM, going up against the most fed member of Golden Guardians. But one has Sona and Tam Kench right behind him, which makes it so much harder. So here's that 600 gold bounty. Big deal for Darshan. And then take another look at what goes down, because I see what Tactical is doing. He wants to get as much damage as possible. You chunk out the at least. Well, then he missed 2 shots right away, thinking, I want to get a 3rd one then. Uh-oh. I put myself in the tricky position. And that's Baron.
I'd be doing that all day if I had an Iceborne Gauntlet. But you usually don't build. Well, I mean, because you're slow. They're not going to catch you if you do that, right? I mean, Aatrox has a bit of that distance gain, so slow doesn't affect that, but I'm not EN forward if I don't have a way to slow the entire team and kite them. That's scary. But he's Tactical. He's better than I am, so that's me.
We're going to have another fight breaking down. Golden Guardians is grouped up before TSM has 5 members here. Akali has arrived.
Hit onto Treats. Stand behind me, and the crescendo does actually hit Tactical on that one. If he can't get the safety, this is going to be big. The 3 members now in a spot to deliver the DPS. No, they are not. TSM gets taken down fast, and the members that need to stand tall are on the ground. Beautifully done there, and they do get 2. Palafox and Keith go down, so the quick trade happens as TSM find a way to keep themselves standing in that one.
And Tactical continues to get away with a sliver of health, getting caught out by Keith's ultimate. And now Golden Guardians has the Darshan that continues to get more and more fed with the Sona bot right behind him. So let's see how this all unfolded, because Darshan continues to move forward, looking for that sweet spot, see if he can get anybody with the chain. And as soon as Creeds commits, the crescendo goes in, and the Irelia ultimate is so good in catching so many members. Tactical is just so lucky that you have Grig right there next to you to keep you alive, whereas, yeah, a Blaze Olive can't kill Aatrox. No one is surprised.
Something we haven't talked about in a long time too, because we only rarely see assassins now, or something that actually assassinates like the Zed or the Akali, is how much a sustain or just a little bit of shield prevents a Blaze Olive from being able to do his job. He goes to the back line, he finds one member, oh, they just got another 100 HP of health, which miscalculates your engage. You know, they're pushed to the limit so much more, and in a situation makes you kind of think, why would you go in for that? It was otherwise a kill for Blaze Olive, and he knew it. So it makes it hard.
It's a tipping point, right? Because you have the Grail as well that's going to heal him too, so it's nearly impossible to account for how big that heal is going to be in a team fight. If he hits a Q, maybe hit a shield before and blew the heal, it's going to be less, but somehow she hits a few Qs in the fight, and suddenly the Ezreal's back to half HP.
See what happens here for Palafox towards the top. He's going to get a little bit of pressure from both members of Treats and a Blaze Olive, but it looks like it will not turn into anything just yet. Good vision by GGSA onto the Baron. One ward basically saving TSM there that's just outside the pit. That necessary ward to be placed so it's not seen by any sweepers or the vision wards, is keeping TSM ready to contest that objective.
And both teams have the exact same dragons, so they're going to both be thinking about, can we take down the jungler and then go for the play. Both junglers have yet to die in this game, though, so they're both doing a really good job in not giving that up. Darshan's got teleport assigned to the bottom lane for now.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Ooh. TSM missing quite a few wards as they go into this Baron pit, allowing GGS to say we're safe to play on the other side of the map. Teleports up, not for Grig, but for Darshan. So if something were to happen now, could definitely be in the favor of GGS. Grig's teleport coming up very soon, though, so whatever fight happens, I'm sure they'll both be there to participate. Good damage over the wall. That could have been very big. Essence Barrage, or True Shot Barrage over your W for Ezreal is absolutely absurd damage. We've seen it steal Barons before.
They can't get baited, though. Hard has a hourglass, so anytime that you commit for the Elise, not only do you have to account for Repel, Hourglass, and then Tom Kensa eat you.
Ooh. Frozen Heart. Interesting.
You know, something else that's really interesting is take a look at Olay running the sealed spellbook. Now has Smite. So this might be Golden Guardians getting a little bit antsy and thinking, let's just rush the objective and use 2 Smite to outsmite Acadian's Lee Sin. It would require the practice and timing of coordinating when you use both Smites, but if they can pull it off, this is one way to bypass that 50-50 conundrum if you have a hard time securing vision around the jungle.
I actually want to ask about Frozen Heart. Do you feel like it's a good purchase?
Yeah, why not?
I'm just thinking about, I mean, it's armor and it's mana, right? But you're looking at the other team. Passive purpose isn't really a reason that you super buy it unless you're playing like a Vayne or something. But not a lot affects that side of TSM. Quite a bit of AP is going to still be flying through with Grig, with a Blaze Olive, and also tactical here. So it's interesting buy.
It is going to diminish the damage, and
for sure
it's going to be a negligible amount. But the fact that you now have Olay with the Warden's Mail, because that's part of the components for the Frozen Heart, makes him a lot tankier and gives him the cooldown reduction and mana for more Devours. So it's the one item that both makes you tankier and gives you more Devours and more everything that you need on TK.
Definitely the Devours. Devours a big one. I like the fact that you put that one in there and getting a little bit of the CD there. Because you always see something, maybe a Zeke's Nax, or you get the, with the Knight's Vow, just to get more resistances and something else to give one of your teammates. True Shot Barrage going back through the minions, but turret still grabbed by GGS. We did have a bit of a stalemate there for a bit. Not too much was falling. The temptation of Baron, the temptation of Drakes as another cloud comes up in 25 seconds. Your third and last cloud of the game. Who's going to go fastest? The zoomies are on right now as we're just sub 30 minutes onto this one. We saw previous games being won at this point. So you can see how much more tentative teams are and the respect they're giving here as they level up a little more equally each game.
It is tense. Nobody wants to give up this first Baron. You give up the Baron and the game might suddenly turn on its head. A big reason why that this game is stalling out, there's really no wave clear for both of these squads. You've got melee in the solo lane for Golden Guardians and really a tank Karma and an Akali as well. So nobody wants to be the one that slips up, loses that objective, and suddenly can't defend the base, and you find yourself an inhibitor down. We saw how hard it was for Golden Guardians to break inhibitors when they had the wave clear on their side in game 2. So this one is no surprise, even though both teams do have that Mountain Dragon.
Look at all this vision. Oh my word. There's like 6 wards around tactical. Imagine if you had a sweeper on yourself, how much gold you'd be picking up right now. That would be fantastic. Quick hundo in the pocket. 3 Drakes on the side of GGS. 1 mountain, 2 cloud to a cloud mountain. So pretty equal almost, just a little bit more movement speed on the side of GGS. With Sona, that definitely makes a difference. So we'll see if they can get that into a bigger advantage. Now kind of choking in TSM, but it looks like it's Acadian who wants that one. The kick happens, but the crescendo comes out and stops it dead in its tracks. That was a silent kick, if you will. And now with a 4K gold lead, the push down mid lane from GGS has TSM on the wrong side. And it looks like this could be an inhibitor turret, but how good is the pincer from TSM? What's a Glacial Fissure right across the side of GGS gonna do? And it's not anything. Treats misses that one, a good dodge out. Again, Acadian into the middle of the fight. That's actually a Blaze Olive into the Shroud and then back into his perfect execution. He may find Keith, but that's the sustain we're talking about. The assassin can't find their mark. And a Blaze Olive goes away with 0 kills on that one. Everybody stands tall for GGS right now, and this is Keith doing huge work with the sustain, trying to fire back now, and they might get tactical once again. Too close to the fight, and he gets burned. That's gonna be Acadian going down, and GGS tear open TSM.
That's gonna be the Baron. They finally have the window they wanted. Acadian is down for 40 seconds with a Mountain Dragon. I think that Golden Guardians can finally make their play. Tom Kent has ulted them in. This is the fight they were looking for.
It becomes so tough. We were talking about it a second ago that's so tentative to actually want to take the fight, and that actually went from mid all the way down to blue. It's not even over yet. They hold their breath as GGS looks to get Baron, and they will pick up the first one of game 3 at 31 minutes in over TSM.
And Golden Guardians was rewarded for their aggression. They go for the play in the mid lane. Keep in mind, Acadian is not here. And if he was, he does not have the kick. Blazeon does a really good job in buying the time, but the sustain from Keith is huge.
Word.
Even though there are grievous wounds on him, it doesn't matter. It's way too much. Darshan continues to do a nice job. And here's where TSM sees all the low health bars and is starting to think, we got this. We've got the Karma shield. We can get in here. But notice that there is no wards. There are no vision in the blue brush ward. This is no way that they can fight. They needed to play it a little bit slower, a little bit cooler, more calm and collected. But the Sona sustain proves why when you get to this stage with Sona and Tom Kench, you're just a huge pain in the butt.
What a hook, line, and sinker there as a GGS on retreat gave him the nope, turned around. The nope and the okie doke.
They saw the W in their eyes.
Yeah, they did. Still quite a bit of work to do. GGS's definitive wins at the end of the game aren't so definitive. It takes them a while. They hold the advantage. They don't do too much that is scary, but maybe too safe is the way to put it. That allows a team to get back into the game. So now we're looking for those pivotal moments where they can keep the pressure on here, working a beautiful 4-1 as they know they don't have to do anything more to put themselves in danger as they drop the outer turrets.
Take a look at this in the mini-map. Right-hand corner, Akali in the base.
Oh, looking for that home guard TP.
Looking for that home guard TP. Okay, they back off, not going for it now. There is no ward. They were not able to secure it. Instead, we're going back to standard wave clear.
I like the eyes there, Crumbs. It's always the split-second play that you try to make. The true shot barrage nearly tickling the members of GGS is that they're just sustained back up if they did take damage anyways. Cannon minions are able to get a bit more with that Baron buff onto the turrets before GGS have to move forward into a dangerous zone. They are able to play a bit of back and forth now with TSM and bait out the fight that they would want. TSM doesn't want to take that fight. They realize what just happened. They may need to get a pick first.
Keith gets chunked out, but the damage just barely sticks. The healing is so powerful from this Sona.
It is pretty crazy. We can see why GGS wanted to run this composition as well, knowing TSM tries to get these long fights. True Sephiroth, a huge flurry of attacks and damage coming in from TSM, but a lot of it is front-end damage. Then they need a chance to think about it and get back in. This is where GGS can prevail. They have the constant DPS coming through. Now, turning their backs once again without Keith. It's a much different fight. TSM get that reel back and again cast down the abilities. This time they're able to drop more members. They just need a second time around to make that fight work.
And they successfully pulled that fight before the inhibitor went down. One more Lich Bane proc would have taken it. So TSM is still alive and well in this game, finding the most important member of Golden Guardians, Key. We've got ourselves a very exciting series on our hands. These teams continue to go back and forth. Take a look at Treats, who sees the window of opportunity, sees the minion, bam, right away, hits the Tahm Kench, and even though the Devour is there, it just does not matter. The Akali was already positioned to assassinate the critical member, and then Golden Guardians is not really sure how to navigate this fight. They're so reliant on cooldowns, these bruisers, that they just don't have a secure way to get in once their main healer, once their main ability to pull back.
Yeah.
And reset with the heals and wait for those cooldowns to come back up is down.
Becomes a little discombobulated to see Golden Guardians fight without all that extra movement speed, damage, and healing. You're right, they looked a little lost once Keith was out of the fight. Here now, kind of power in numbers. They will be hip to hip with that Sona for the rest of this time. You can see Ole's already walking around with Keith as Hard joins that party. Darshan obviously going to go and do a little bit of a solo party on one of these lanes to get the minions ready, but I think that's the name of the game now, is making sure all of these minions move and GGS doesn't get ahead of themselves to get into the base.
We have Acadian and a Blaze Olive pushing the bottom lane. Sorry, Grig pushing the bottom lane. Just trying to secure some more time in the bottom minion
jungler
wave so that, yeah, junglers, right? But we got Baron in the minutes, and both these teams can definitely do it very, very quickly. Golden Guardians is a little bit faster, but they have complete control of top and mid when it comes to vision. So TSM needs to be very quick right now to secure the vision that will allow them to be in that position to at least threaten a steal against Golden Guardians' speed of taking Baron.
67.5 to 62.1. That's Golden Guardians with a 5K gold lead. Two mountains and two clouds. I don't think I've ever seen that distribution of Drakes. 2 mountains, 2 clouds, to a cloud and a mountain. We don't even get to see the third elemental this game, as Elder Drake is next. And they have kind of traded back and forth on those objectives. GGS, 2 games in a row now, being able to control quite a bit of those. Baron was theirs first. Let's see if they can do it again. It has been the crutch that TSM cannot get past. If TSM have a good early and mid game, they don't seem to have enough control to bring it back. That's what GGS is working with right now.
10 seconds on the Baron. Now it's all a matter of securing priority in the lanes, but Aurelia answering Tactical's ultimate in the top lane, making sure that they have prio there too. So Golden Guardians is going to feel really good about this at the moment, and they might be looking to collapse. The Blaze Olive is looking for another flank.
Beautiful. They get the ultimate out of Treats, but that's a Blaze Olive. Like you said, a beautiful flank to the side. Bit of a kick, bit of a flash, over the wall again. Did he actually find safety? Ole with a beautiful job getting his AD to safety. That's going to be Keith actually on the Sona, but still needs to deliver in the damage. Not looking good for GGS. The escape is great, but the fight from TSM and the aggression put them in a better position.
Well, they're rushing, but they didn't clear the ward. Golden Guardians knows they're doing this, and they just spotted them with the Scryers.
Almost a kickflip onto Keith. The Blaze Olive in a good position. They may not want to attempt this entire fight. Yes, Lee Sin has a great ability to take that objective, but so does Elise. They almost match on those Qs, on the ability to execute. Hard's now going in onto 1. Treats very low into this fight. He has flash to get out, but he's already going to be down, as now we're looking from the sky cam. Darshan's on the bottom in a 2v1 as Greg tries to join that fight. Golden Guardians drops Acadian and Treats as well, and now it's going to be a Blaze Olive and Greg running for their life, and they are running the wrong way as their house is all the way behind them. Inside the base, Keith teleports in, and he's going to try to to put the final touches onto the turrets. Will they be able to stop this? One flawless duet's going to stop him, and he cannot collect the other member, and they will have Grig back in the base to save it. A Blaze Olive is eventually going to fall, but it's GGS now with power in the base.
They're going to be able to end the game after the back and forth around Baron in the most unsuspecting way. TSM were the ones to start the objective, but they will be the ones to end the game on a loss.
GGS spicing things up here with a win in Game 2. You see a sigh of relief there from Darshan. He knows they're hard-fought wins, but they are going the way of GGS in Games 2 and 3 and are now on game point.
It was such a valiant effort out of TSM, especially a Blaze Olive looking for so many flanks, but Ole's Tom Kench saving Sona at the last minute was huge. Huge play. The fact that Sona lived out of she was dead. They were 2v3'd.
You know, you never say to that guy who does his job that has one job, he's like, great job. You only get at him when they make a mistake. You had one job. But Ole, great job that game, keeping safety. Even in the lane, as I said, he was being the meat shield for Keith, that they were taking autos if he got hit with the Winter's Bite, concussive blows. Everything around that was definitely focused for Keith once they realized how much he was doing for it, and it allowed Darshan to do so much as well. We see GGS get a lead after a fight in that top lane. A lot about Darshan once again on this Aatrox.
This is after a one fight in the Dragon Pit for Golden Guardians, but the Sona Time Kench made it there quicker. And remember in Game 1 where TSM was winning fights where they had a man advantage before TSM? Yeah, this was one of them where Golden Guardians was doing the same thing. And while it should have just been a bit of a lopsided fight and nothing else of 2 kills, Tactical makes the tactical error of dashing in and taunting Darshan, thinking that he was not going to get clipped. And I got to tell you, it's going to get uglier than that, because in that last fight around the Baron Pit, the exact same thing happened. The Ezreal dashed in and got cocooned.
He did it at blue as well. 3rd time's a charm. Then you don't do it after that. Maybe he just had to fill it.
No more Ezreals.
No, we'll see. Game stalls out as well, though. We saw that happening as GGS finds their footing, but you see the Sona comp
This is
come
the one.
online.
Look at Ezreal, right? You poke the elite, but the QSS was late. He thought he'd be able to have a beautiful QSS in getting out of the cocoon, thinking I'm going to outplay it, I'm going to kill the elite, this is my big time to shine. But a microsecond of a misplay actually ends up being a huge detriment. And, you know, I still don't want to put it all on him. I think the call for Baron out of TSM as a whole was a flawed call. So he's just trying to be a hero here and made a small mechanical error that ended up costing so much.
Great job, Palafox playing the flawless duet, getting onto a Blaze Olive as we see the damage coming out of this game. Almost 50k from the Ezreal. Got a lot of squishies over there to shoot, but usually you see more damage when you have tanky people to shoot, so he was definitely making the rounds on everybody for GGS there.
When we look at the healing though, after this one, the healing is going to be the nutty one, because all 5 members of Golden Guardians have innate healing abilities, and that's just going to make it so crazy to stay in these fights, because even though there was healing reduction from the side of Golden Guardians, it clearly was not enough.
You made me, I forgot to check the Alistar healing game. Now I'm sad. But what another great game from GGS. You can see Anero feeling pretty good about that. They're chatting with Keith. He's saying, did you see me healing and stuff? I got to eat this banana because I was just rolling my face on the keyboard and I got to have more potassium to do that again.
I like Ole in the background, just chilling. Yeah, he's having a little fire break, if you will.
He's great. He'll Abyssal Voyage back over the table in a second. It'll be great. Hard there, getting himself. He's listening. It looks like Keith and Nero doing a bit of talking. I don't think there's much to say on that one. Reinforcement. I'm not a coach. This is all guessing. Reinforcement and play what you feel good playing. I think coming into the next game, they don't have to stress themselves out too much. Having a pillow of that game kind of difference to work on is nice, but you always want to pick up the win right away.
And they showed that they can win with the Sona Tom Kench. Unlike Game 1, it really now forces TSM to think maybe we should ban it like we did in Game 2. We might need to look at this pick as something that is just a bit too difficult to deal with. And we looked at the difficult of execution for TSM's composition, where it was a Cadian having to go for these crazy flash kicks that are only the reliable way to start the fight because there's just nobody else to do it. Karma and Akali are not going to be the ones to help you out.
It kind of has that wow factor on both sides, right? Golden Guardians come back, use the composition. They didn't win with before. But if TSM wins that, you're like, well, we just styled all over you. What do you even have for game 4? It really gets in your head. So I like the way they're trying to play. Not everybody's getting the result that they want, but GGS is coming up big now with 2 wins. After the break, we're rolling into game 4. See if TSM Academy can tie up the series, or if Golden Guardians will earn a spot in the Academy World Finals. Briggs in a bad spot, but Palafox also in a tight spot here. Ignite goes in. That's going to be the ultimate as well. No, but now it's starting to show up a little bit bigger. Darshan's coming in for what could be a double kill. Picks up number 1 for himself. No, that goes to Ole.
They might want to fight.
Yeah, they want to fight.
I don't care. We win.
Yeah, okay. We can look. Oh, Ezreal.
Yeah,
I'm looking. It's big. I'm diving.
I need help on the call. Help.
Trying to fire back now, and they might get tactical. Once again, too close to the fight, and he gets burned.
Oh, Ezreal lead.
Wait,
Ezreal.
Ezreal. Yeah. Yo, we have TPs. Can we end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, careful mid.